Likutei Torah, Eikev, page 32, second column, 10 lines before the second ice. Okay, so the Rabbi is explaining this Ava Rabba that comes from a gift from above. So he says, and that's what we say in benching. So he asks, what's the connection between Bris Milah and Torah to the inyan of benching? So he says, benching is the whole concept of bringing down the Ava Rabba of Elokus. So he says, this bringing down this level of Ava from Hashem, which is tremendous. That's the level of mitzvahs milo priya. Doing the like we learned yesterday. This is where we finished yesterday. There's two parts of a bris milah. You have to take off the thicker skin that you cut off. That's milah. Priya is pushing back this thinner skin. That's his gala Torah, which is the level of yud. And like it says in Zoyat, ein yisal an negalim b'tzedakah. Masha'en kein orlo. The foreskin is unique as v'achizas achitania. That is the unique of evil. That's why Hashem said you have to cut off to do the bris. Hashem, like that Birkat asked in the Gemara, he says, why didn't David to make us circumcised already? If he hates it, if it's mu'usa, if the concept of the foreskin is mu'usa, despicable by Hashem, the Gemara asked that Birkat asked, why didn't he just make us born circumcised? So the guy said, because he answered, not the guy, the Tana answered, because like Hashem didn't make finished bread. Hashem made wheat. And you have to make the wheat into flour and flour into bread. Hashem wanted our avodah. So same thing, Hashem wants our avodah. This ability to do the level of milah, which removes the evil foreskin, that allows Kedusha to be revealed, that's nitnu l'Avram. This is given to Avram Achuzos Elam permanently. And that's Eretz Canaan Beruchnias. Like you said before, the Alter Rebbe says, Canaan means Canaan. Canaan means business. Canaan also means Achno Bittul. This Bittul that he was given to Avram. Achno vil Bittul Mesidas Nefesh. By days and through this becomes Kinyan Kederech HaTagor. It comes the level of the acquisition. What? No, bris in a higher level. I mean, the process of bris probably will be.
The process is going to be finished.
I don't know. I didn't see anywhere. Maybe it says if a Mashiach comes, there just won't be any bris. I don't know. Maybe you'll be born circumcised.
Are we going to have birth?
Will be birth. In fact, it says, Isha Teled B'chol Yain. The Gemara says a woman will give birth every day. So it says the Mefarshim explain, it doesn't mean, the Alter Rebbe says it in Tanya also, it doesn't mean she's going to give birth every day. It means the day she conceives, she's going to give birth. Like before Chetei Tzadas, Kai and Hevel, they were all born that day, the first day when Adam and Isha was created, so they conceived and she gave birth. See, the 9 months is because of Chetei Tzadas. Because of Chetei Tzadas, that's why it happened. But now that Chetei Tzadas won't exist anymore. That's the level Achnov a bit, and then you become the Kinyan. The Chein Mitzvahs Milah Ne'eges Bizman Hazeh. The Chein that Alter Rebbe asked, why is the Mitzvah Bris Milah not today, even when all the Yidden are not in Eretz Yisrael? So he says, because Chein Birkat is their Reise. The Eretz Beruchnias, because this Eretz and Ruchnias that the Jews need to acquire, which is the land of Canaan, which means acquiring the business, Canaan business, and Canaan Achno v'Shiflos, he says through the level of Birkat Hamazon, through the level of Canaan, Eretz Chemda Teva Chava, even though we don't, Eretz Yisrael is not ours today yet, I mean, it is ours, but we don't, not all the Jews live in Eretz Yisrael doesn't have the Kedusha, what it used to have. That is accomplished to Eretz Chemda Teva through Bris Milah, which is Milah and Priya, removing the evil to reveal the Kedusha. And therefore there's Eretz Beruchnius, and that's the whole thing, Lachuzas Elam. Okay. So he says, Achlahov and Tamaskar is Britz V'Teira, Bebrichas Ha'oretz. Says, why do we mention the Britz and Teira in the Bracha of Neidalucha, which it deals with about Eretz Yisrael? In the Omer Azal, he says like this, Chazal say, Kol Shleim Emes V'Amuna Arvis Liyotzi Dechai Vos. The Gemara says, by Ma'ariv, after Shema, you say, Emes V'Amuna. Yeah. So he says, the Gemara says, whoever doesn't say Emes V'Amuna by Ma'ariv doesn't fulfill the obligation of Ma'ariv. V'hinei be'emes V'Amuna Eimnim Tchila Kol Zeis Loshen Nukva. In the morning we say V'yatev V'nochem V'kayim Yosh Emes Adavar Azeh. It's all masculine. The Shachris, it's all masculine. After Shema by Ma'ariv, V'Amuna Kol Zeis, it's all feminine. So he says, why is it Loshen Nukva? And then we say V'kayim Aleinu Loshen Zach. So by Ma'ariv we start off in the Keva, Emes V'Amuna Kol Zeis, right? Feminine, and that's V'kayim Aleinu, not V'kayim Aleinu. So it's masculine. So he says like this, why is it changed from masculine, feminine to masculine? It says, it says by the man, it says Hashem rained the man from heaven. And there's lechem min haaretz. So there's lechem min hashemayim. In fact, the Rishonim write, what bracha did they make on the man? They couldn't make a meitzi lechem min haaretz. No, they made a meitzi lechem min hashemayim. That's what the Rishonim write. They made a bracha meitzi lechem min hashemayim. If they made brachas then, a meitzi lechem min hashemayim. But he says there's two levels of lechem. There's lechem min haaretz, lechem min hashemayim. Oh, Masha Kosov, Chochmeis b'chutz tereina. Chochmeis, wisdom, then outside will rejoice. There's base, again it says Chochmeis, plural. What's the Chochmeis? Bechin is Chochme ilah. Chakim v'lei b'chochme yediyah. There's a level of Chochma of Hashem. As we say in Pasuk Leo, v'lei b'chochme yediyah. It's not in our well-known form of Chochma. In fact, Alter Rebbe in Torah, in Pasuk Leo, the Maimon Pasuk, Alter Rebbe explains that it's Chochma ilah means it's the source of Chochma. It's not even Chochma yet. Chochma ilah means it's the source of Chochma. And then there's Chochma Tata, which is Malchus, Ki Malchus Ebekol Mashallah, V'kolim B'Chochma Si Succeed. Okay? So there's two levels of Chochma, there's two levels of Lechem. So it says, what does that mean? Shebchin is Chochma ilah, level of Chochma is B'chal Bittul. Right? Chochma is Koyachma, Chochma is the spark, the initial spark. Chochma is the level of Bittul. So there's Chochmais, there's Chochma ilah, and there's Chochma Tata. Chochma Tata is Malchus. Okay? So he says, Chochma ilah is Bittul Be'etzem, Be'gdul Kula Kamei Kula Chosh. It's Bittul, what we would call Yichud ilah. It's a level of Bittul, basically, Einaid, Kula Kamei Kula, there is no world. Ubachin as Tata, and the lower level of Malchus, which already is Dibur, which creates the world, so worlds do exist. That's the level of Bittul Yesh. Okay, there is a world, but the world is Batul. Chochma ilah is, there is no world, there is only Elokus, not Einaid Movadi. Einaid Movadi, right? That's the level we say, bracha v'hidah. There's bracha and there's hidah. That's Hamshach is begilim u'mayla lamata. He says, bracha, there's bracha v'hidah. Bracha, he says, is, again, bracha means to bring down, v'yavrecha gemalim, v'mavrecha segefen. That's the gilim u'mayla lamata, ki bracha hi beloshin b'richa. Hamavrecha segefen, like the Mishnah says, you take the vine, Hamavrecha segefen is in Kalayim, they take the gefen, and you bring it down into the wheat. So now they're joined together. It's called klei hakerem, wheat and grapes. Heidah, and what's heidah is the level of bittul hayesh. Bittul of yesh, shemei da'ech to kula kamei. He says, kula, he also says kula kamei kula choshev. But the problem is, av she'en ala kamei, v'lei nigla lamato. He said, kula kamei, but Hashem is kula choshev. But down here it's bittul hayesh. Kamei, next page. Kamei dem chacham l'rameir she'emes itei. Like it says, we learned this in another memoir of the Alter Rebbe also. Heidah is like it says, mei dem chacham l'rabanan. Okay? Mei chacham l'rameir. What does that mean? I have my opinion. You have your opinion. But I am meide, I admit to your opinion. That's bittul hayesh. I am something, but I bottle to you. Chachmei law, Yichudei law, there is no me being bottled. In fact, the Rebbe asks in the other memoir that we learned, how can you say Meidim Chacham l'Rabbi? Heidah seems to mean like this. Hashem, I really have a different opinion than you, but you're right. I mean, how could that be? There is no other opinion. So he says, Avkam Meidim Anachnu. She'emes itay, the truth is like you think, like you know Hashem, kula kamei kula choshev. So what's the heidah? Because we don't feel that level. We don't feel that level of bittul. That level is not revealed to us. So that's bittul hayesh. So bittul b'mitzias, chachmei ilah, it says chachmeis. There's a level of two chachmas, like Keldei Ois Hashem. There's Das Elyon and Das Tachten. There's Hashem's opinion and our opinion. Same thing basically. Das Elyon is L'mayla Yesh U'Lamata Ayin. Das Tachten is L'mata Yesh L'mayla Ayin. But that's because we don't understand it.
It's also Likutei law, Likutei Torah is another name for the same thing.
It's all the same thing. Likutei law means Ein Ed Milvad, there's nothing but Hashem. Likutei Torah means there is a world that's bottled.
The Rebbe asked why in Yomuna it starts with feminine and Moses not yet?
I don't know. I didn't see an answer yet. Maybe you know ahead. V'zeu inyan emes v'amuna, and this is the inyan of emes v'amuna, which is also gam ki inyan bracha v'hidah. Emes v'amuna is like bracha and hidah. Again, what's bracha? Mumaylo lamata. Right? Hidah is mumata lamayla. Bittul hayesh. I am subservient to you. Right? So he says that's the same level of emes v'amuna. Because ki emes mikorev. Shenira be'ena seichel. Emes is truth. Truth you see visibly. This is the reality. Emunah is belief. That means you don't see it. It's distant. Shekachu emes. It's a maimin, I believe that's the emes. In other words, something you understand, it's proven, that's emes. So emes, I don't have to believe it. I see it. It's emes. Okay? So, what? V'ayim asher kosev me'inyan emes v'amuna bir and the pasuk yadait ayim. V'zeu gam kein ha'hefish. So the Alter Rebbe is saying like this. There's lechem in haaretz, lechem in hashemayim. Right? There's chachma is plural. Chachma lo, chachma tata. And then he says, the same thing, there's emes and amuna. And they're all interconnected. And he says, that's the difference between the two breads. Lechem in hashemayim, lechem in haaretz. Lechem in hashemayim is said on the mon, sheshor shemi makar chachma ilah. Mon comes down Mumayla Lamata. It came in Hashemayim. What's the source of Mon Chachmi Law? Like it says, Uberedet Satala Lamachne Laila Yered Amon. Because first the dew fell. One of the reasons why we cover the Chalas and Shabbos, two reasons, but well, Kabbalistically is more. But because the Mon, when it fell, the double mon that fell on Friday for Shabbos. That's why we have Lechem Mishnah. So first there was a layer of dew. Then it said, he's quoting the pasuk of Maloischa. Beredus hatal in a Shemaim, and then it says, Beredus hatal, when the dew came up, then Yedid Amon, Olav. Then the mon went on it. So it says, there was dew, mon, and dew. So the mon was also covered. What? Dew sandwich.
Only on Fridays this happened?
No. Friday it fell double. But B'chal, the man fell with dew. So he's explaining that man comes in this very lofty level. Because dew, dew, it says, comes from a very super great level. Tal is, like the Gemara says in Shabbos by Matan Torah, Kol Dibur, Bid Dibur, Parcha Nishmason, when Hashem spoke, all the Neshamas popped out of the body, and Hashem revived them. The Gemara says, Betal Sha'as Lachis Be'amesim. With the dew that he's going to resurrect, it's a Tchis HaMesim with. Okay? So dew is a level of Tchis HaMesim. Okay, but it's a very lofty level. And that was the level of the mon, by the way. The source of the mon came from this super high level. And that's why the mon was covered on top and bottom with dew. That means it was completely the level of tal. And therefore tal is so great, it's higher than the avodah that a Jew could reach. In this week's Parsha, in Vahayim Shemaya, okay, we were learning it last night in the class, but not this point of it. In Vayim Shemaya it says, if you be im Shemaya Tishmo, if you listen, then in the Satim Tar Artchamite, you're going to get rain. Or in Bechukei Telechu, when Asati Gishmeichem Beitam, I'll give the rain in the proper time. You don't behave, okay? So rain comes from a level of Kedusha where our avodah is dependent. Behavior matters. So we behave, we get rain. We don't behave, the pasuk says we don't get rain. The Gemara says, "O tal lein outside." Dew never stops. That means whether you do sin or not, dew there's always going to be. Dew will always fall. So Chassidus explains why. Because tal, and that tal that Hashem is going to resurrect the dead with, right? That level of tal is a connection with Hashem that is above behavior. Gashmistic mashal of this is a child. A child is not more child if they behave or less child if they don't behave. Right? A child is a child. You're not more child if you're good and less child if you're bad. So there's a level of avodah that's dependent, a level of schar that's dependent on our avodah. Or as the Gemara says, or Meir says, ben kach u ben kach bonayhem. There's even a song, Friedman sings this. Ben kach u ben kach bonayhem, the Meir says, ben kach u ben kach means whether they behave or don't behave, bonayhem, they're still my kids. So that's the level of dew. That's lechem in Hashemayim. What?
Halachically in Shemona Esrei.
No.
If you forget and you say, instead of Mashi Baruch Mornegation,
You say murder at all, it's good.
It's good.
Right.
Because it's a higher level and covers it.
Because it's a higher level and you didn't say anything, you didn't miss out anything. As the Gemara says, Yesh B'chal Masayim Ona. In 200 you have 100. In the higher level you have the lower level. Therefore it says, no, I'm saying, I skipped a few lines. The Hainu B'chinas Talad, the Bedul Chamakar HaChacham Estima. Talka is the source of Makas Chacham Estima, Mezayna de Chakima. It says about the Mazan of Chachma, Pirushu Mazan Liyas Savis Chachmi La. The moment of Shemayim is the food that creates Chachma Ilah. That means it comes even from Chachma Stima, which is in Chassidic language Chachma of Kesed. Chachma Ilah is Chachma of Atzilus. Chachma Stima is Chachma of Kesed. Therefore it says, Likutei Dvar Yom B'Yomei. You have to collect every day the man. That means the man itself is higher than time. Now it comes into time. Shonim shechma ma'ila min azman, u'makir yisavis azman nimshech me'itei, and therefore the concept of dvar yom b'yom time comes from the man. L'chayin or yagam kin nivla beivar. Therefore the Gemara says the man, there was no waste in the man. Normally you eat food, you have to go to the bathroom. So the good part of the food becomes absorbed in the limbs and the garbage goes out. But by the man it says, Nivla beivan, v'lohaya be'pselis klau. V'lohaya tzrichim l'nekavim klau. They didn't have to go to the bathroom. Why? Because it was such a lofty level, there was no waste. There was no evil. There was no ra.
Rabbi, why are you saying that it comes from higher than time? It sounds like it's coming from the level of time. Come on.
No, he says it's nimshach mo'mayla min azman. He says.
But it's coming daily.
Shenimshach mo'mayla min azman, u'makir zavis azman, comes through the man coming down. So lachem min hashemayim is again the level of Yichudei Ilah. It's a level of Elokus that there is no world. There's no time and place.
There was a seder, I mean, daily and
That level came into time. What?
So one is out of time, but once it comes into world, then it becomes down by time.
Becomes?
Down by time.
Yeah, but nevertheless it would still remain. That's why there was no waste, because it was still above time. Yeah, they had to collect it daily. Okay, they should have this shovel and to go to the bathroom when they went to war. So he says, so now the Alter Rebbe asks a question. It says in Chumash that when the Jews went to war, that they have a shovel to be able to dig when they needed to go to the bathroom, to dig a hole and go to the bathroom and cover it up. So he said, if there was man, what did they need? They didn't go to the bathroom. So he says, Shema Shenamar v'Yosef ti'alocha hanu b'dvarim shetagri u'maseilim meichim lahem. That's what the Goyim sold them. The Jews didn't only have money; they did business with the Goyim, the Goyish neighbors around them. In fact, according to the Ramban in Daskel Malatesis, they had to build the Mishkan Atzi Shitim. Yeah, so where do they get Shitim in the Midbar? So Rashi quotes from the Medrash that Yaakov Avinu foresaw that, and he took from Eretz Yisrael, took the Shitim into Mitzrayim, and when the Jews left, they took the Shitim with them. Yeah? The Ramban says, no, Atzi Shitim means they bought the wood in the city of Shitim. Like it said, Vayeshiv Yisrael b'Shitim, after the Balak story. Vayeshiv Yisrael, there was a city called Shitim. And Atzi Shitim, the way that's came about Tesis and Ramban, I believe both of them say, that there was, the Boshit bought things from the neighboring communities.
But any of those cities we stopped was populated?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
In the middle of the desert?
Yeah.
So the soldiers ate food from the Goyim and therefore they went to battle.
They also, besides the mud, they also ate other food.
So we ate other, I thought during 40 years we only ate munch, but now you're telling
No,
me
who said they, where does it say they only ate the mud? The Jews complained, were sick and tired. They had meat also that fell from heaven. The slav, right? No, that doesn't say didn't produce waste.
how could they carry the sheeting through the desert? It's very heavy.
They sent it overnight.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
How did they carry the board throughout the 40 years in the desert?
They're huge. Desert, hot.
It was cold. It's cool. They're air conditioning the clouds. The Nani Yaakov was cool.
Wagons.
I mean, how did it carry 40 years? They carried the boards in the midbar. The Levium carried the boards, right? B'nai Merari carried the boards. No, how did they do it? 15 feet board, you had a few people carrying it, big deal.
It is a big deal. Doing it is something else. It's not easy.
Building the Mishkan was more complicated.
They put them on wagons.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They had wagons. That's why they had the 6 wagons.
They took him with him to Israel, right?
Yeah.
How long?
They put it up in the 14 years. It was, they brought it into Eretz Yisrael. And then later they built the Mishkan.
And then it was in Benjamin territory? Or
No, the Mishkan was by Yosef in Shiloh.
Moshe Rabbeinu made the Mishkan. You put it up, right? Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah.
So that means it exists.
What?
It
Yeah, the Mishkan exists. It's buried, wherever.
Nor exists.
Is it in Italy? I don't want to say that.
No. Not the Mishkan. The Mishkan was buried in wherever.
Heaven and Nora.
Menorahs, some people, first of all, there are a lot of menorahs. They say the menorahs in the Vatican, no. There's a bunch of kelim in the Beis Hamikdash there.
It said more than 10,000.
600.
Yeah.
Whatever. I wasn't there, I don't know.
There's
Ephod,
a movie made of it, a rabbi made it.
But they had, was it Rabbi Elazar in the Gemara says, Rabbi Elazar says, the tzitz was either Kodesh Hashem 1 line or 2 lines. And he says, the Mishnah says, Rabbi Elazar says, I saw the one from Rome. But nevertheless, other opinions say there were a bunch of tzitz. There are a bunch of menorahs. There are a bunch of tzitz. There are a bunch of a lot of every keli in the Beis Hamikdash in the Mishkan had a second, a duplicate. Yeah,
even the Choshen Mishpat.
the Rambam says all the keli had a duplicate.
So the pictures that are, it shows the curve menorah. The Rambam says that it's angled.
By the way, not only the Ramban, Rashi and Chumash says there was diagonal.
Right.
Yeah. Other Mefarshim, but it's based because they base it on the Shar Titus
Yeah.
that over there was round, but that doesn't mean anything.
There's some opinions that it was round also.
I said, somebody should know it was round.
Because on
Ibn Ezra, I think so. Whatever, a bunch of people say it was round.
yeah, some cameras that were found in Italy, very old, show the round one on the cameras,
No.
meaning that they could have potentially seen the.
It was on display for many years.
I'm not-
Now but you have to see the movie.
I have to see the movie.
You have to see the movie.
The document.
It's phenomenal.
I never forget, I was teaching in the high school years ago. I mean, they're talking about 40-something years ago.
No, that's Ten Commandments.
And then I'm learning the Chumash, whatever, about things that happened in Kriyas Yam. So the kids said, no, that wasn't like that. The movie had it differently.